97% of people will never become millionaires. And it's not because they're dumb or lazy. We're talking doctors, lawyers, software engineers making $200,000 a year who are still living paycheck to paycheck. Because regular people treat money like it's a reward. I want tons of money right now, while the wealthy treat it like a tool. Regular people spend money, the wealthy manage it. While one person empties their account for sneakers, another makes even $200 work for them. Because they treat money as a resource. Today I'm going to show you the 15-65-20 system that the wealthy use to turn money into a source of freedom. Even if you're making $1,000 a month, you can already apply this and start joining the wealthy. So where do we start? The first step might surprise you because it's not about making more money or finding hot investment opportunities. It's about building what I call your exit poverty button, and that's your first 15%. When you don't have a financial buffer, your brain literally switches to survival mode instead of strategic thinking mode. And this isn't just a metaphor. Financial stress actually lowers your IQ by 13 points according to research. You literally get dumber when you're worried about paying rent, which is why any wealth-building strategy becomes impossible when you're operating from a place of panic. No investments, crypto, stocks, or startups work when you're stressed about basic survival. This is exactly why the first 15% of your income always goes directly to your emergency fund. Not to try to multiply it, but specifically so you don't mentally collapse at the first crack in your financial system. Picture this. You're a programmer making $5,000 a month and you suddenly get fired. If you don't have an emergency fund, you immediately break down, cash out your investments at a loss, panic about every expense, and make terrible decisions from a place of desperation. But if you have 3 to 6 months saved up, you don't lose yourself in the chaos, and instead you can actually choose where to go next, rather than taking the first terrible job that comes along. Here's your simple calculation. Take your monthly salary, multiply by 0.15. That's what you save every month until you have 6 months of expenses stored away. Making $3,000 monthly means $450 going directly into savings. Sounds like a lot. But ask yourself this. What's actually more expensive? Setting aside $450 now, or asking your parents for money at 35 because you ended up in the hospital without insurance? The wealthy always build the foundation of safety first, and only then launch their growth strategies. This is the foundation of everything else. Now, once you've got that safety net in place, and not before, we can talk about the next piece of the puzzle. After you've laid the foundation of safety with your 15%, we move to controlling your basic expenses. Most people live chaotically. Money came in. Cool, let's cover all the gaps and grab some sushi. Then the money's completely gone, back to stress until payday, and the cycle repeats. Sound familiar? Now watch how the 1% operates with a completely different system. Successful people have budgets, but not in the style of wrote it in Excel, printed it, hung it on the fridge, and forgot about it. But instead in the style of a decision-making system where they know exactly where their money goes and everything stays under complete control. This is where your 65% rule comes in. Here's how it works. 65% of your income covers everything you need to survive and function. Rent, utilities, food, subscriptions, transportation, basic stuff. And the key is that you decide in advance. I'm giving this zone no more than 65%, not a cent more. Let me give you a concrete example. You make $4,000 a month, which means exactly $2,600 goes to basics. Period. If your expenses try to go beyond this limit, you have exactly 2 choices. Either cut back or upgrade your income. But you absolutely do not reach for the credit card. Why? Because that's not being cheap. That's having a system. This is what separates people who build wealth from people who just make money. Making money is easy. Keeping it and making it work for you requires systems. And this 65% boundary is your first real system. And yes, entertainment is important too. But it has its own separate budget. Don't confuse stability with pleasure. That's what the next 20% is for. If you're not enjoying the journey, you won't reach the destination. This is exactly why the wealthy always deliberately leave substantial room for pleasure in their financial systems. And that's where your final 20% comes in. This isn't weakness or waste. This is pure fuel for your entire system. 20% of your income lives for everything that makes life actually taste good. Morning coffee at your favorite spot, spontaneous gift for a friend, a massage after a tough week, a new game for relaxation, clothes that you genuinely love wearing. These are investments in your emotional state and motivation. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to stick to a strict diet where you couldn't eat anything you enjoyed? How long did that last? Exactly. Same principle applies here. If you can't sustainably spend 20% on yourself and your happiness, then you definitely won't be able to maintain 65% on basics and 15% on growth. Because you'll eventually get tired, burn out completely, and break into that destructive, screw it, you only live once mentality that destroys years of progress. Wealthy people know how to treat themselves, without guilt and without destroying the system. They spend knowing everything is under control. The beautiful thing about this 20% is that it makes the whole system sustainable. Without it, you're basically putting yourself on a financial diet that you'll eventually break. So let me be clear about something. The 15-65-20 system won't make you a millionaire overnight. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a get-rich-guaranteed scheme, but only if you're willing to play by the rules. Are you ready to play the long game? Can you sacrifice a little instant gratification for future financial freedom? If yes, then this system will literally change your life. But here's the thing. You need to start today. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not when I get my next paycheck. Today. Open that savings account, set up the automatic transfer of 15% from your paycheck, recalculate your basic expenses to fit the 65% limit, and yes, give yourself permission to spend an honest 20% on joy. In 1 year, you'll understand how real money actually works. In 5 years, you might not need to watch videos about how to get rich anymore. The difference between people who build wealth and people who stay broke isn't intelligence, luck, or even income level. It's systems. It's treating money like the tool it is instead of chasing it like it's the prize. Your money should work as hard as you do. But first, you need to give it a job. The 15-65-20 system is that job description. Hit like if this was helpful. Subscribe for more real talk about money. Peace out.